Hello everybody, my name is Nomad and welcome back to another Borderlands 3 build video, and today we're going over my Boomslinger Moze build. It's a Tediore centric build heavily focused around rapid mass mobbing, using Tediore weaponry and the incredibly powerful Iron Cub to utilize anoint and class mod damage bonuses that we weren't able to use prior to DLC 5. So let's just go straight into the build, and as per usual we start off with the weapons, and in this time around for this build we are using the sure shot purple pistols. Now these pistols are incredibly powerful. They have homing parts and merv parts, so you throw them, they'll seek to enemies, they'll explode, split into multiple different mini pistols that'll seek at enemies and killing them too. So homing merv parts are really good with this pistol. One thing to note about these weapons is that they don't have a dedicated world drop source, unlike most legendaries. So the sure shot pistol being an epic rarity, you can get it things from sources like world drops like Slaughter, the Iridium Fabricator, Crazy Earl, and standard weapon vendors. And yeah, once again, as I said before, the sure shot is best suited with the homing merv part, so you don't have to worry about aiming too much. And as per usual, the preferred anoint is the consecutive hits or the 300/90 anoint. As far as elements go, as you can see, I have a cryo, corrosive, and radiation, but feel free to get one of every element if that's what you choose. So apart from these pistols, if you're feeling spicy and want to use the other Tediore weapons, feel free. The way the skill tree is set up is in such a way that you can utilize most Tediores as long as they do decent amounts of damage. So weapons like the Horizon Shotgun, the Gunnering, the Bangerang, and the Dark Army are all fantastic options for this build too. And once again, anoints recommended for those weapons follow suit with the ones that are sure shot, so those being consecutive hits and 390. Now, moving on from the weapons, we have our class mod, and with this build you can use one of two. One of them being the Minesweeper class mod, and one thing to note, and things I've mentioned in my previous Tediore builds as well, is that when you throw a Tediore weapon, they count as grenades. Now Moze has a skill called Pull the Holy Pin that allows grenades to crit, and by extension that makes the Tediore pistols, or Tediore weapons in general, able to crit. The way Minesweeper works is that when you do a crit, it has a chance to spawn a micro nade that'll deal damage and scales with a bunch of different elemental bonuses, critical damage, splash damage, all the things that you really want and all the things that Moze can boost fairly significantly. So the synergy in this sense with this Tediore build is that when you throw those Tediore pistols, shotguns, or whatever it may be, they can crit and spawn their own Minesweeper nades. So you just have to throw it around and just watch explosions ensue. As far as the passives go, things like splash damage, critical hit damage, elemental damage, all those things that you typically expect in a build for rolling out splash damage will work well for passive effects. Now, moving on from the Minesweeper class mod, we also have the Flare class mod. Drops from Evil Mordecai in Castle Crimson in DLC 4, and provides Moze a 100% multiplicative damage type bonus to all damage sources. So those things include Iron Bear and Iron Cub, grenade damage, weapon damage, so on and so forth. The Flare bonus applies to almost everything, and is based on how long your action skill, i.e. Iron Cub, has been active for. The benefit for this ensures that Moze gets a stable damage bonus for an extended period of time. However, the downside of this class mod, as opposed to something like a Minesweeper class mod, is that once your Iron Cub is dead, you don't get any more damage bonuses until it is back again. However, cooldown is not much of an issue with this setup, as you can see, because we invested fairly significantly into Purple Tree. So that is the class mods out of the way, and as far as the artifacts go, there's basically two. One of them is now very hard to obtain, so let's just start off with the easy one, and that is the Cut Purse Launchpad. Drops from Red Rain in Slaughter 3000, the big old red mech that spawns towards the end of the round 5, and what the Cut Purse Launchpad does is it basically gives us infinite ammo. Slamming when you have the Cut Purse Launchpad equipped launches homing rockets that home into enemies, thanks to the launchpad part, and these rockets do melee damage. As we have a Cut Purse prefix, these rockets, when they hit enemies, regen ammo for whatever gun we are currently holding, and that's how I'm able to get my ammo so quickly in the background gameplay. If you already happen to have a Fish Slap grenade from the Revenge of the Cartels event, it's basically a grenade that does melee damage, you can then replace your Cut Purse Launchpad with a Cut Purse Victory Rush and get yourself some extra multiplicative bonuses. It's a small amount, but it's still very nice just to be able to boost the damage of your build even higher. However, the Fish Slap grenade is no longer obtainable since the Revenge of the Cartels have ended quite a long time ago. So if you don't have access to one of those, that's fine. Use the Cut Purse Launchpad. However, if you do have a Fish Slap grenade, or you know someone who can trade you one or make one for you, feel free to grab one too. If you're on PC and you missed the event, I'll be putting the save file for this build in the description down below, so feel free to download that and grab yourself that Fish Slap grenade for a bit more of a versatile playstyle. Now, speaking of grenades, we have one. And, oh well, not really one, but it's the anoint that we're going to be using that matters. And that is the while action skill is active, gain 150% grenade damage. So as I mentioned earlier, Tediore weapons count as grenades. So being able to boost your grenade damage is incredibly beneficial. Now, as far as the actual grenade goes, you can use whatever you want. Hunter Seekers, Spring Epicenters, Cloning Madden Trackers, Mervtacular Hexes in the radiation element, all work absolutely fantastically. But yeah, the critical factor for this is the anoint, and that is the on action skill active, gain 150% grenade damage. Moving on from the grenade, we now have the shield, and we basically have the Multivine Plus Ultra. Basically has become a bread and butter shield for Moze, gives her a bunch of HP, Ashen's cooldown rate, random bullet absorption because why not, and as far as the element goes, the anointment goes, we have the Iron Bear kills count for cooldown anointment. This just helps to maintain our Iron Cub uptime and to make sure we are maximizing our flare bonus, which is once again that 100% extra bonus damage. Moving on from the gear, we have the skill tree. And as you can see right off the bat, we'll show off green tree first, and there's very little. Now, since purple tree has come out, I honestly think, in my opinion, it's worth speccing into that over just getting some magazine size bonuses. Yes, Tediore weapons do more damage the bigger the magazine size is, but nowadays, with a bunch of different things, the flare damage bonus being helping you push the damage potential off this build even higher, I've elected to basically ignore that. So we have a single point in Darker Bear, just to give our Iron Cub a little bit extra damage. Moving on to Purple Tree, the star of the show, we have the Bear Mother Tree. Now this tree, I've already made a breakdown video on this, so feel free to check that out. But yeah, this tree is all focused on maintaining Iron Cub and status effect damage, so that's why we expect in fairly significantly into this. Big Surplus right now is incredibly busted. It's basically Skagden, but active all the time as long as Iron Cub is down, so that will give us an extra bit of damage when Iron Cub runs out of fuel. We have Biofuel to give us some extra health regeneration, double time for movement speed, Explosive Fury, Fired Up, and Superior Firepower to boost our status damage, and Nitrotitanium Engines to give us some extra fuel and extra cooldown rate to get Iron Cub back a bit faster, and once again, maintain that Iron Cub and flare damage bonus. Moving on from Bear Mother Tree, we have Demolition Woman, and once again, as you can see, nothing too special. Bear in mind that we did avoid Torque Cross promotion, not because the damage bonus is bad, but just because I don't like downing myself every 2.5 seconds. However, if that's something you're more than okay with living with, feel free to spec 5 into that. But yeah, I just avoided that because I don't like going down very often, so we just spec'd into Skagden, Deadlines, and Grizzled, and Stainless Steel Bear to help make sure we have Iron Cub as much as possible. Means of Destruction to help us with our grenade regeneration. Pull the Holy Pin is maxed out to help us crit as much as possible, so if we're using a Mind Super class mod, we are maximizing our chances for it to crit and to spawn that micro nade. We have Vampire, once again, Tediore weapons count as grenades, so you can heal from that just by throwing them out. To the last, once again, very powerful utility skill, helps us maintain Guardian perks, consecutive hits, anointments, all the good stuff that we want, so that's why we have that. And Short Fuse. Now, Short Fuse doesn't proc on the Tediore throws, however, some weapons, like the Dark Army, which is the Tediore SMG, the little Dark Army mini drones can proc Short Fuse, so that's why we have that. Just in the event that you're using different Tediore weapons that do fire bullets, so things like the Bangarang, Dark Army, and the Horizon, they all do the sort of same thing, so that's why we have that. Moving on from Demolition Tree, we cap it out with Shield Retribution, and we just basically went down to get ourselves the capacitive armatures, hardpoint augment, which is what we're going to be using most of the time. It just helps to kill enemies incredibly fast. And we have Drowning and Brass to help us with a bunch of gun damage too. And yeah, with that, that's basically the build in a nutshell. Hope you guys enjoyed and hope I did a good job of explaining it. I just want to apologize for my voice. I have not been feeling my best. My voice has been very, very messed up, but I figured it's been a long time since I posted a video and I wanted to get something out for you guys to have a bit of a fun play around with. So that's why we have this video today. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. Take care of yourselves and I'll see you guys next time. See ya. Lasagna salad? Yeah. Lasagna is nothing but just a layered salad.